Well, that was my
Okay. So,
I lost that one.
alright. So we're going to talk about how to graph something now with two graphs on it, and the reason why we want to have two colors is because we're going to shade two colors and they're going to come together and mix. So like, this is like art class or like kindergarten all over again. So it's just we're throwing math into it, so I apologize for the math part of it, but the coloring has got to be fun. So we're going to graph these. Now, when we graph them, we're going to graph kind of each individually, and then once we have them graphed, again, the two colors should come together, and where the colors mix is going to be the solution. So I am going to remind you guys on my little asterisk up here is supposed to remind you guys of the dotted line or solid line. And then also remembering that if you divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality. So what I'm going to do here is I'm basically going to graph one line completely. So I'm going to get the whole line on there, shaded and everything, and then we'll put the second line on there. So we're going to graph the line in shade. So I'm going to graph the line in shade using a test point. So I'm just going to choose the top equation that's there. So I'm going to completely finish this equation. So I'm going to begin this one at -3. My slope is what in this first one? You see it? There's slope there. What's in front of the x for that top equation? Negative, so it's a -1. So I'm going to begin this graph at -3. And then from there, remember it's downhill because it's -1. We'll go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. I can also go up 1, back 1. But this one needs to be a solid line because it has that equal to line. So we have a solid line that we can draw. But before I finish this one, I'm going to completely shade it and figure out the shading as well. So again, can I use 0, 0 in this case? Yeah, because it's not on 0, 0. So anytime I can, I use 0, 0. It's just so much easier than the other points. We know where it is. We know both of them are 0. -0 is just 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to -3? Yep, 0 is greater than -3. So we're going to color up here. Now again, if you're using highlighters, they actually work really nicely with this because the colors will actually mix for you, which is a little satisfying. Zero, 0 worked. Now we have to go and graph the other line completely. So hopefully you didn't color too dark. It doesn't look anyone's. Every once in a while I have a student that's using like a black marker or something and they color it and you can't see any part of the graph anymore. But thank goodness you guys are smarter than that. So the next one we're gonna graph using same idea. So we're gonna graph the other line, graph and shade other line. If I can spell. So this one's going to begin at 2, and then the slope is also 2. So begin at 2, my slope is 2. Oops. And now don't be bothered by the fact that these don't cross at a particular coordinate point. We're not looking for one solution. We're looking for a whole group of solutions. But this one's what kind of line this time? Dotted. So this time instead it's a dotted line. And again, we have to shade. So we have to figure out where to shade. And when we do that, we can test 0, 0 again. It's close, but it doesn't go through 0, 0, so it's okay. So again, we're going to put 0 and 0 in there. So 0 is less than 2. Is that true? Yep, that works. So again, 0, 0 works. We're going to shade over here. So yours probably looks a lot prettier than mine when you have that other color. Because when they overlap, they should change like colors a little bit, or you should be able to tell where they kind of mix together.
Look at the colors too.
Sorry, purple and green don't really mix well.
I'm gonna try blue.
I have to show Kylie's pretty one here. Can I show? So you can be jealous for a second, how pretty hers is. Yeah. So those crayons, as much as they're weird, they like when they color together.
They make a nice mixture.
Yeah.
Look how pretty mine is.
That's very pretty. So pretty. We all wish, yeah. Pencil and highlighter, not quite as pretty. Yeah, no.
Oh, pretty.
All right. So, what the solution is, yeah. We all need our build up here. Okay, so what the solution is where these two colors overlap is going to be the solution. So where your two colors mix, whether or not it's pretty or not, that's where the solutions are. So the solutions are where the colors mix. Now when there's only one color, we only have to worry about that. Like on the front side, it was only that one section. This one, it's where the two colors come together. So I have like 3 questions here. Are these points solutions for the system? So do the points underneath the graph there, do those work in our system? Rather than having to go and test them, I can hopefully look at my graph and be able to tell. So 1, 4. 1, 4 is right here. What do you guys think about 1, 4 there? What do you think? This is kind of a tricky question. 1, 4 is on what kind of line? It's on a dotted line, right? Do you see that? That blue line should be a dotted line. Do you recall in the page before we said if it was on a dotted line, it's actually not part of the solution. It's on a boundary. It's like right on the edge of being an answer, but this one's a no. Because it's on that dotted line. So if you need to write yourself a little note to point that out. How about 10, 0? So 10, 0 is over here. Does 10, 0 work? Yeah. And just so you guys know, the coloring doesn't just stop here, like because we want to stop coloring at some point. Really, the color keeps going all the way over here as well. So like 100, 0 would also work. This one works because it's in the double colored section. then how about 0, -3? That's here. Yeah, because that one's on a solid line. That one works. So this one's a yes again. So since that one's on that solid line, that one works. Okay? I apologize if you already started on question 3. I'm going to ask that we go to question 4 instead. Sorry. I think only 1 or 2 of you are there. We are running low on time, and I want to make sure we have time. So let's do question 4. What's it? All right. I brought this one up just because this is what I was talking about when I needed to run down to the copier and fix what I had printed. So y is less than or equal to 5. This is kind of like the question I'd asked you guys and said, remember those special graphs? What kind of line is this one going to be?
No slope.
So no slope, so it's going to be flat.
No, not slope.
Yeah, no slope. So it's going to be a flat line. So this is going to be a horizontal line where y equals 5. So I'm going to go up to 5, and it's just going to be a flat line at 5. Whoops, and it's going to be solid because it has that equal to line. But I'm not done yet. I still need a shade. Now I will let you guys know that shading on something like this, oh, I forgot I have highlighters up here I can use. Shading on something like this, it's probably a little bit easier because there's only one value to put in. If I try 0, 0, there's only one place to put something in. Is 0 less than or equal to 5?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So 0, 0 works. So I'm going to shade down. So I'm going to shade down here. These are my highlighters. I forgot. I have highlighters too. So I'm shading down here. Okay. And that one might be one you can kind of talk your way through. Y is less than 5, so we should go under. Okay? Let's finish up this last one here. So how do I get the y alone here? Divide by 2. So I don't have to flip the inequality because I only divided by a +2. This is 3 halves. I don't mind 3 halves because that's slope. That's fine. -6/2 is just a -3. So this graph is going to begin at -3. And then it's going to go up 3 and over 2. Up 3 and over 2. But this one's going to be a dotted line. Again, if you ever forget about that, feel free to, just write me a quick little note that's, hey, that's supposed to be solid, or dotted, I mean. Do you guys want to test 0, 0 again?
Yep.
Yep. And again, you can test 0, 0 in either place. You can test it in the original or the new one. 3 halves of 0 is just 0. Is 0 greater than -3? Yep. So that means that works. So I'm going to switch my highlighter here. See how my colors turn out. Oh, that's nice. So the solution then in this case would be the green section there. So if I want to know where the answers were, they'd be in that green section. Okay? All right. Yeah, so that's another thing. Shading the wrong side on this is really tough because most of our highlighters are not erasable. If you ever did that, you could always, like on a test or something, just come up to me and I can give you another little square. You can try and write like, hey, I was meant to shade the other side, but it might be better just to start over again. So, kind of that measure twice, cut once idea. Like, you just might want to be a little more careful. Even I'll send a piece of graph paper back with these guys. Okay. So homework is graph paper, a lot of graph paper you'll need. Reminder, please try to remember to bring headphones for tomorrow, guys. Since you'll be doing basically like a virtual lesson,